moving on, as an individual, how has your background influenced your career choice? So I think you kind of got to that, but
Yeah.
say a little bit more.
I guess, yeah, some of these questions are a little interrelated. One thing I didn't mention was that I was a little bit heavier before, so I was like 70 pounds heavier. I say a little, but I'm like, I couldn't carry that now. And I think that definitely influenced me because like after, I was actually really heavy in college during that time before I ended up switching to like public health. What I realized is that doctors were not really addressing like the whole picture. Like they were telling me like, you need to do this, like just eat better. I'm like, okay, like I don't have food, I'm really poor, like what healthy food can I buy? And then I was going through a lot of issues like during that time. I was sexually abused as a kid, and after being robbed in my home, I was having a lot of those issues resurface back in the form of like kind of like acute post-traumatic stress disorder, where I was reliving many of those moments every day. So I struggled even talking to people, and it wasn't until I addressed like the whole picture where the weight started dropping down, and then that's kind of how I also got into public health. Just because I realized like it's not only one thing that would do it. We have to look at various factors that are preventing that person from engaging in healthy behaviors.
My grandparents are from Mexico, and they speak Spanish fluently, of course, and they would take care of my sisters and I after school, so I grew up hearing them speak Spanish, and I learned how to speak Spanish and taught myself how to read and write in Spanish. So I've always had a love of language and speech and communication, and combine that with I've wanted to help people for a living, and so just those communication, helping people, speech therapy is like the perfect combination. And so that's why I chose speech therapy. My sister also had speech as a kid, and so my mom, when I came time to choosing a major coming out of high school, she told me what the speech therapist would do with my sister, so it kind of was like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds perfect, and it just worked out. But then, yeah, also growing up, I kind of would notice, I would translate for my grandparents when we would go out, and there would be like a, I don't know how to say it, but almost like people who don't speak English, when people who are mainstream English speakers, they speak to them almost, not everybody, but it's almost a little bit condescending, and so I always hope to be that, to bridge that gap. Okay, I'll be the bridge in the future for people who are like my grandparents, and whose kids maybe need speech therapy, or whose grandpa needs speech therapy, and I'll close that gap as best that I can because I saw it growing up. So that's me.
For me, I've come from a really big family. Like my mom is one of 10 siblings, and then my dad is one of 11. So I'm kind of in between with all the cousins, and there's a lot of my cousins that excelled in school, like my older cousins to look up to, but then all the younger ones that are below me, they were looking up to me. And in college, I had no idea. There's no idea. I had no direction, nothing. So I kind of put that pressure on myself to really like take risks and kind of see what is out there and see what I can do and what I do like. There's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of like, oh, well, I tried that, don't like that. And there's a lot of, oh, yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. That kind of steered me towards occupational therapy. The basis of occupational therapy is basically, so occupations are the things that we do. So I really live by when you do things, you're more healthy. Like you live that, you promote that health and wellness when you're actively doing things. So it's kind of, it goes with my own little philosophy for life. Keep doing things to stay, stay mentally healthy and physically healthy too. So a lot of the things that I believe kind of come in line with what happens in occupational therapy. So yeah, that's where I came